Mark, good to see you. Today we get to break down Medicare basics and misconceptions. There are many different enrollment periods with Medicare, and there are penalties if you miss the deadlines. And I want to let everybody know October 15th kicks off the annual election period that runs through December 7th. But first question, when are we eligible for Medicare and when do we need to enroll?
Well, I think as most of us should know, it's age 65. So we can enroll the month before we turn 65, the month we are 65 on our birthday, and then we have another month grace period after our birthday. So
Okay.
most of us probably know when that time comes because we're getting bombarded with mailings and advertisements, because we are approaching that critical age where we're going to have to go on Medicare.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's talk through Medicare. There are four basic parts, A, B, C, D. Let's talk through parts A and B first and the differences between the two.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Part A is included. We don't pay anything extra for this, so we've already paid for it essentially. But this is from a high level. This is really going to cover hospital. So as you can see from the slide, it covers everything from hospice care, home health care, but it has some limitations, obviously, that would morph into if something became chronic, that would now become long-term care. But this is really the hospital coverage as part A.
Mm-hmm. And part B?
So then part B, think about it this way. It's going to cover 80% of everything else. So this is doctor visits, co-pays, all that kind of stuff. And so part B is covering the majority of the things that we're going to use on a daily annual basis for healthcare.
Mm-hmm. All right, now I'm going to skip part C for the time being, and I want to ask you about part D. What is part D?
So part D is the prescription drug. So when we get into actually looking at different plans, because again, when we file, we're going to get part A and part B. We're going to pay a premium for part B. We're not going to pay anything for part A, but then we have to decide, do we want to go on a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage? If we go on a supplement plan, we are going to be required to get a part D, which is prescription drugs. And depending on what those drugs are, really is going to be dependent on which plan we're going to go with and what's the cost of that.
Okay. And then now let's talk through part C. Some say you need it, the Advantage plan. Others say that you don't.
Yeah, so I would disagree. I mean, you could say, well, I don't need it, but what if something bad happens and you have $1 million hospital bill? Well, Part B is only going to cover up to 80% of that, and you're going to be paying out of pocket $200,000 in this example. So really, we really need to look at Part C, whether that's a Medicare Advantage prescription drug or a Medicare supplement, and you really need to find someone that is well versed and specializes in this arena to really help you make those decisions, because Medicare, it's a quagmire and it creates a lot of confusion for people.
I'm glad you brought that up because, of course, my next question is how do you help a client determine what he or she needs?
So I always say we can't do everything, and I can't do everything. I can talk to people about Medicare and how it works into a retirement plan.
Right.
But in-house, we do have a specialist. Her name is Angela Walker. And if you would like to schedule an appointment, she would be more than happy to meet with you. In fact, we do Medicare educational classes as well. But what we encourage people to do is kind of go through that process with her, become educated on Medicare, and then ultimately, if you're empowered and you understand things, you're gonna make the correct decisions on which plans to go with.
Right. And it is, of course, as you mentioned, part of a well-rounded retirement plan. So, Mark, if somebody has questions about this, how can they reach your office?
Yeah, so they can just pick up the phone and give us a call. The phone number is 303-681-0113, or they can actually schedule an appointment on our website, which is mcgregorwealth.com. And once you do that, if it's specific to Medicare, obviously we'll have Angela reach out to you, and then you guys can go from there.
Great. Mark, thanks for your time today.
All right. Thank you, Erin.